Hey, this is Todd Sharp, and I want to give a quick demo of my Google Analytics CFC that I created. The first thing I want to point out is the README, and in the README, there's a link to some Google documentation about the API, and I strongly suggest that you take a look at that documentation because it'll really help you out when you're going to do your going to work with the API. So here's the API, and here's a demo page actually, and the first thing we do is we create an object, create an instance of the component, and the CFC is called Analytics, and then we authenticate with our email address and Google account password, and then there's a bunch of methods in here. The main kind of one that gives you information about your own account is the get account data, so you can call that and dump that out. In this case, I'm just doing a query of query on the query that it returns to get my ID for a specific domain name. So if you want to put your domain in there, and that'll get you your ID that you're going to have to pass along with your other method calls. So the main kind of method that you can use to get data is the get analytics data method, and you can take a look at the documentation in the folder, in the docs folder, to look at the different methods and what you can pass, what arguments are required, and what you can also pass optionally. So you want to pass that ID with most method calls, and in this case, this is the main method used to get data from your analytics account, and it's kind of raw, so you're going to have to pass dimensions and metrics for what you want to see in your query in the exact format that Google wants to see it in. So if you read that documentation that I linked to in the README, you'll get that data. So you can be pretty creative and get any kind of data you're really looking for, but you have to make sure you follow their exact specifications for how you're passing those dimensions and metrics. One of the cool things that I did was to make it easier for you is to kind of wrap some convenience methods into the API here, and that'll let you get like a refer summary or a browser summary or a content overview, a bunch of different methods that kind of have hard-coded some of those metrics and dimensions into some common type queries that you might use to get your data. So take a look at the documentation and see what you can do. Let's give you a quick overview of what it actually looks like when you call it. I just dump out the component here. Here's the account data query, and then most of your other method calls are going to return actually a struct. The first key is going to be data, and that's going to be a query containing your actual results. In this case, it's my keyword summary and how many visits. Let me see here if I can resize the window. How many visits per that particular keyword, as you can see over here. And then I also get a metadata struct that gives me some general information. If I'm doing any kind of pagination, I'm sending a start row, I'm going to get back how many items per page, what the start index is, how many total results, and the start date and end date, those kind of things. So here's the refer summary, which comes canned with a keyword, page path, page views, what the source is, how much time the user spent on the page, a bunch of other kind of canned data that I thought would be nice to use. So that's an overview of the API. Hope you like it. You can download it at Reforge at cfgoogle.reforge.org. Thanks.